Well, hello, hello, hello. I am your host, Shaun Keenan. This is the Comics to Movies and More show. We go live each Sunday night at 10 o'clock. So if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button and smash that notify bell. Tonight, we are going to be doing a little bit of a catch up on Comics to Movies, what is in store for the next 3 to 6 months, which is absolute shitloads, excuse the language, but I'm super excited to be talking about everything that's coming up. Also, thanks for everyone that watched the Akka Awards last week. It was super cool to kind of have an award show where a bunch of awesome creators were recognized, and to have Kickstarter and Comic Books on Demand again helping us out as sponsors is super exciting as well. So everyone should have their awards now except for Dan, and I did get all those messages where people were saying make sure I send the trophy over to Dan. I tell you what, I've still got it here. I've still got it here. I haven't sent it to Dan yet. I might do it soon, but I don't know. I think it might be cool if I just keep it. But without further ado, I'm going to bring out, as usual, our amazing and superstar co-host, Stephen. How are? Oh, Stephen, where are you? Brad, man, he's filling in for the one and only Stephen. How are we going, mate?
I'm good, mate. I didn't know what was happening there. I thought, is he really going to do this, or is he joking? But no, I'm good. I'm very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm great, mate. I'm great. Stephen's little girl, it's her birthday today, so he's taking the night off, and I thank you very much for filling in for him. And it's a great chance for us to catch everyone up on what is happening with Talos Sparta as well. But before we do that, how is everything going in your life, mate?
Oh, mate, everything's going great. The last year or so has been a bit crazy. There's been a lot of changes. Moved house recently, and my partner and I found out a little while ago that we're having a little baby girl. So that's probably
Amazing.
the biggest. Yeah, that's probably the biggest news. And as well as that, obviously drawing, working on diligently on Talos Volume 2, and trying to scratch together a living as we all are at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when we last had you on, you were doing your own business. You had stepped out of all your other work to do this full time. How has that been going? Being an artist full time and everything. Have you found it as rewarding as you thought it would be, or are you're pulling your hair? Oh no hair. Pulling what is left out.
Look, mate, it's a bit of both. It's great to have the freedom. I've sort of structured my business in a way that it's sort of built around my lifestyle more. For me, that's more important than the amount of money that I bring in every week. Obviously, there's got to be enough money to put food on the table, pay the mortgages, because I've got a couple of those and all that sort of stuff. But the lifestyle that I've got is the most important thing. That was number one for me. And autonomy, which is brilliant. I only have to answer to myself, really, and obviously clients when I've got to do something that might need to change, or I've got a crazy deadline, or something along those lines. So it is very rewarding. Anyone out there who is an artist will know that a lot of the time, artist or graphic designer, because I sort of do a bit of both, you don't always get to see the end product that's finished. So sometimes that sort of final, oh wow, that turned out amazing, sort of, you don't really get that. So you have to be prepared to, what's the word I'd say? You have to seek validation from inside yourself to know you've done a good job, rather than getting it externally a lot of the time. I feel, at least for me. But yeah, I love it. I wouldn't change a thing. The only thing, obviously, we could all use more money, but like I said, it's not the be all and end all for me. The most important thing for me is being able to direct my energy into places that I think is important for me.
Yeah, I think that's you hit the nail on the head there in regards to about that validation. I think myself, even with all of the comics I've done and everything that I've put, that is that a lot of the times you're looking for that external validation, and that's great if you do get some, and that's either people saying that they love your series, or winning a Kickstarter award or a comic award, or something like that. But sometimes it's great really just to take a step back and give yourself that validation. I'm guilty like not to do that enough myself, and kind of recognize how much I've kind of done or achieved, or something like that. So I think that is a really important thing for any creative, is actually just stop and just take a minute to kind of notice what you achieved. And the second part to that is to blow your own trumpet, because no one else is kind of gonna blow your trumpet for you. And you'll find out really quickly who are your really good supporters, and who are those people who are there that want to kind of lift you up in regards to your work and what you do, because they're the ones that are cheering you along the way. So and yeah, as always, I think money is nice, but I think for me personally, COVID really highlighted to me how much family means, and also that work-life balance in regards to maybe not being away every second weekend doing a show in a different state or a different country, or something like that. So yeah,
100%. Yeah.
But hello to everyone in the chat. We've got Sazagal, Moira, JK, and Nerds Amalgamated. How are we all? If you are here, there's a few more I can see that are watching. Comment in the chat and say hello, and we'll chuck up your comments. But today is just going to be a fairly quick and short show. We're just wanting to kind of give everyone a little bit of a spiel of what's happening in the world of comics to movies, now that we've got several projects on the go. So we just wanted to go through and give a little bit of an update on each project. And in doing so, we're also going to give you guys some sneak peeks into all of the covers for each of the projects that we've got coming up. So these have not been shown anywhere else other than maybe to Kickstarter backers. But if you haven't backed all of our projects, this will be your first opportunity to have a look at some of the really cool covers that we've got coming up. And I believe, Brad, you're going to share a little bit of a sneak behind the workings of Talos as well, which is cool. So
yeah, look, if anyone's interested, I have a second screen. It has a page on it. So yeah, look, I'm happy to show anyone who's interested for sure.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that first. So everyone knows that you and I created a series called Talos to Sparta. The first issue came out middle of last year. Life and everything else has kind of gotten in the way a little bit to the second issue. But the one thing that we agreed upon, and what you really were adamant about, was this time around, you actually wanted to make sure that the book was almost 100% completed before we went to Kickstarter, rather than having only a certain amount done. So I'm super excited to say that we've got what I think 2 pages left out of this issue to do.
This one's probably 3/4 done. So 1 1/4.
1 1/4. So that's super excited. Almost all of them are colored as well. So we've got Wilson go back on colors, and they look absolutely phenomenal. So super excited about that. But let's share your screen, and we can show people what you're working on at the moment. So this is one of the final pages that we're waiting on for volume 2. So
yes, that's
really cool, man.
It's page 45, so it's probably, I don't know, like the second last page 45 in the total. I'm not sure what page you would call it in the second volume. What, page 23, I suppose, or 24? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, this just happened to be on my computer. I'm actually working at home on the last couple of pages. For those who don't know, I alternate between working at home in my house, and I have an office space that I use as well. And I work on a Wacom Cintiq 22 HD at the office, and I just have a cheaper. This is just a Chinese Huion 22-inch tablet.
Okay.
But funnily enough, this is a $600 tablet. The one that I use at the office is a $2,500 tablet, or was when I bought it brand new, and I prefer using this one. So I've decided that I'm going to finish the comic at home using the cheaper tablet, because it just feels a bit nicer. But yeah, so anyway, any of those for those of you who are interested, this is page 45 in the total, and I've got sort of the way that I work might be a little bit frustrating for yourself, Shaun, and our colorists and the letterers and all that sort of stuff, because I don't tend to work sequentially. I tend to sort of chop from page to page to page. So one day I might be doing page 35, the next is page 43, and all that sort of stuff. And I do that because I sort of I get a feeling for part of the script, and I read it and go, oh, that jumps out, so I want to work on that, and I sort of put my energy into what makes me feel something first. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I actually always wondered that, because it doesn't make it hard for me because you number all the pages, so that's always good and easy to kind of but yeah, okay, that I understand that now, because I always wondered, I'm like, oh, why is he working on page 38? And then he goes back to 35. So so is that cool? So you jump on or jump into whatever seems to grab you first, or something that you can visualize straight away when you read it, you're like, I know exactly how I want this page to look and everything.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that go into it, but essentially that's pretty much it. The how do I put it? Like the things that jump out to me first are the things I need something to get me excited about what I'm working on, and the things that jump out to me, I go, oh yeah, no, I could really make that look cool. I'll use this angle or that sort of stuff, or sometimes it's just a matter of I've not drawn something that's in the book. I've never drawn it before, so I won't do that first. I'll come to that later on when I feel like I've got a rhythm and a flow, and I've done a few pages, and I feel more confident to tackle that particular part. So, like in this particular book, there's a lot more buildings and backgrounds and stuff than there was in the first one. It's very different in terms of the background. So you're inside large buildings, there's columns and archways and statues and all that sort of stuff. So, and growing up, I never really drew background stuff. I trained myself in how to draw perspective. I've drawn a million buildings and all that, but I've never really had to be in a position where I've had to put it into something before. So for me to combine my love of drawing the figure and people, humans, and anatomy, which is what I really love the most, is the anatomy stuff. But to combine that and sort of for me, it's a bit of a step outside of my comfort zone to create more background stuff, and to not just be focused purely on the figure or the figures in a panel. So sort of one of the biggest things that I've learned through trial and error, and going back and forth with the colorist, with Wilson and all that sort of stuff, is that some panels, when I look at it, when it's finished inks in black and white, when it goes to color, it comes back, and I sort of look at it and go, oh, I really didn't do him a great favor by not putting enough information in the background, or all that sort of stuff. So it makes his life more difficult. So I've sort of learned to take that as a challenge to myself to upskill and get better at sort of this stuff that I maybe would have called on a weakness previously.
It's so funny, because there's some artists where their backgrounds are so detailed, that you actually feel guilty putting any letters over the top of it, because you look at the background and you're just like, oh my god, that's phenomenal. I've got a couple of original pages by Humberto Ramos, and I'm just like, Man, like, I didn't even see half of that in the actual comic book because it was a bit of a monologue on the page that I've got, and I'm like, far out. He's got all this stuff in the background that just is just covered up type of thing. So that's why I love seeing these type of artworks and everything that you kind of. I enjoy the process. Like I said, like you send through the inks to me, and then I kind of see what Wilson does, and then for me, I look at colors a lot of the time, and I'm like, oh, that looks great. Where when I send it back to you, you're like, okay, the shading's not right here. There's no shadow here. This doesn't look quite right. I'm like, oh, okay. I wouldn't have probably picked that up straight away. As soon as you've said it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that type of thing. And I think that's the difference between like a really high quality book and the you're starting out indie book is those little things that you can pick up on and fix and adjust. And a lot of readers might not they'll comprehend it, but they might not instinctively know what they're looking at. But then later they're like, oh, okay, if it wasn't there, that would have made them go, oh, why does this look funny? Or why does this not quite feel right or whatever? So,
yeah, 100%. And, I get something back from color because I've obviously got a vision in my head of what I want it to look like and all that sort of stuff. And I try my best to do, to consider things like, light sources and all that sort of stuff. So, for example, this panel here, which is only really small on the page, and this, again, through trial and error, I've only really just learned that sort of I've got to give the colorist information to work from. So I've given a strong light source coming in from this direction. So that's why you see shadow all down the side. Sort of, it's not huge, but the shadow here. Maybe I'll switch to a different color. Shadows down here. That indicates that there's a light source coming from the right-hand side of the panel, right? So,
yeah.
Whereas I think the mistakes that I made, I wouldn't say mistakes, but through the process of learning, not having done it before until I did Talos, is the volume one, was that I probably didn't do enough of that. And I've been trying to sort of concentrate more on creating mood through lighting and sort of drama and all that sort of stuff through just subtle changes and really studying and learning how lighting works and all that type of stuff. And yeah, so where to spot blacks and what to put into shadow and what to not. So that I could have just left that 4 fingers in a palm and just inked it like everything else, but I think it looked more dramatic in black. So yeah, so things like that. So it's a learning process, and also the process of learning how to speed up the actual process as well, so it doesn't take you 10 hours to make one panel. You can learn the shortcuts and how to do this quicker and all that sort of stuff. So an example of that would be these panels here, where panel 1 and panel 3 are basically the same panel, but he doesn't have any pupils or eyeballs. Well, he has eyeballs, but no pupils because these eyes are completely white. And where here he's come back, he's snapped out of his trance and he's got eyeballs back again. And I've taken that same drawing and essentially modified that drawing and changed his expression. So now I've got him, he's squinting his eyes and all that type of stuff. Whereas before I probably would have tried to draw that as 3 separate images. Now I've realized and gone, it's, like continuity, and the way that you've structured the script, it sort of calls for that. It's like and I've tried to incorporate that into the way that I'm doing the drawing. In each panel, yeah, it's the same, but the colors are different, or this is different.
Yes.
It's deliberate. Yeah.
And digital art is 100% allows you to do that more than that traditional side of things. So like a lot of people will see the very first XCT stuff, and there'll be stuff either up on a screen or there'll be something in the background or whatever. And a lot of those times it's literally not drawn, it's digitally cut and pasted into the background, because we're wanting it, or we're referencing back to either a fight scene or a memory or something like that. And it's so much easier to actually physically take the image that you've already done and put it in there, because that's what you're referencing, rather than to have to try and redraw that again. So
totally, 100%.
So yeah, so what are we thinking? We're probably thinking maybe early next year to release this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can sort of aim for the same sort of. I think the original one was launched in January 2020, so we could.
Yep.
2020 or 20, whenever it was, whatever year it was. I've lost track. But if we aim, I think if we aim for that same sort of time, I think it worked well, and yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's super cool. So, what we're going to let everyone have a little bit of a squiz on is the actual variant cover that we've got for this. It's done by the amazing Ash Maddie, who has already done a cover for XCT. So, this is going to be the variant cover for Talos of Sparta issue 2. So. Super excited about this. It's a very cool, dramatic type of mystical image. Ash always does a great job on all of his women pieces, and just kind of I felt this tied into the story really well without giving too much away. But we've got a mystic priest, and this is based on that character. So super excited to kind of see her in the series and see what power she has, woman power. So
yeah, absolutely, very cool.
So we don't have the pre-launch page up for that yet, but that will come up soon. So before the end of the year, we'll have the pre-launch page up, and you can start following that and hitting the notify bell and all that type of stuff. So until then, I hope you liked our little update and our little squiz into Talos of Sparta 2. I know a lot of people have been really enjoying it when I've been doing conventions this year. Hence, this is the first year I've been back, and the first time I've had Talos of Sparta at convention. So a lot of people are already, asking for where issue 2 is. So, and also just to touch on with this, the way it was written in like a graphic novel format, and we have kind of broken it up into 3 issues. So, once this second one kind of sets up the next act, and then we've got a third one, because I guess one of the one things or feedback we did get was a lot of people said, I just would have liked a little bit more in issue 1. And I feel that that's because it was written in that graphic novel style to kind of begin with. So, but we all learn and we all kind of move on. Now, the second project that we're going to talk about tonight is a cool project with a new actor that we've got on board. So this project is called Night. So I will share the link. We've got the pre-launch page up for this one. It is in collaboration with Martin Copping, which is a voice actor and actor. He's also directed his own film called The Dunes. It's a very cool, different story for us. So it's more of a leaning towards a horror series. It's got a lot of different monsters. It's set on like an alternate Earth where there's 2 moons and only 4 hours of sunlight a day. So a lot of the animals have kind of developed into nocturnal hunters and everything like that, and the humans are kind of what is being hunted. So super excited about that project, and kind of cool to be able to work with another actor as well.
Yeah, very good, mate. And that's what I think you should take an opportunity to pat yourself on the back for the work that you've done this year to get yourself to this point. Good for you.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. It's I feel like sometimes when you open like one door and you get to work with one person, then it kind of like then opens up another door, and then things seem to get easier. It's always trying about getting that first opportunity type of thing. And like, you know, I know you've said it before, you know, with doing prints with me and everything like that, like you hadn't done any sort of artwork for a while, but it's about once you start doing it, start getting into that groove, and then, you know, then the next opportunity comes along, and then the next opportunity, before you realize it, you're working for yourself and you're your own boss. So now, what we also want to do is I want to give you a sneak peek into that actual cover as well. So you can have a look at the cover, and that is the cover in full. As we usually do, the lead character is based on the actor Martin Copping, so it's kind of cool that he's being able to lend us his face and everything to the project as well. But super excited about this. This is going to be the variant cover for the series, and we're looking to launch this in what are we now? September. So about November, maybe November, early December. So yeah, so super excited to release that one as well. So and a lot of people are going to ask me who the artist was. I'm going to have to defer that to Stephen, because he commissioned the artist on that one, and I just, for the life of me, cannot remember the person's name. So now the second project that we're going to be launching, and this will be launching in the next few weeks, is Aquila, which is set in the Fractured Shards universe with Dan Furigel. And we're super excited about this project because, as I've mentioned a couple of times, that this project is a all-female creative team. So we've got Dan has kind of lent his universe to Grace, who came up with the story, along with Stephen as the editor. And then we've got Deborah as Deborah Leonce as the artist, which is phenomenal. We've got Alicia as the colorist, and we're super excited to release this. It's a really cool, short, self-contained story about a bounty hunter and a woman that is all set for power from moving out of the district into the lights, but that always comes at a price. So a lot of people would have seen this image, which is kind of your Inception type of idea in regards to the cover. But I will show you, I've got the full variant cover, which is this one here. And this is, so we've got a day and a night version. And this is going to be the night version. So very cool, lots of purples and really bright and everything like that. So super excited to showcase this one. A lot of people would have seen the other image, but this is the new variant cover. So
that's really cool.
The really cool thing that we're going to do this is I'm going to send you actually an email later, Brad, with because you do all of our reward images. So this has been working on that today to get that. That's the last thing we need for the project to launch. So not to put you under pressure, but super excited to do that. And the other cool thing about this project is, for the first time ever, we're going to offer just one reward to allow you to come up with an idea for your own spin-off graphic novel within this universe. So full 30 to 40 pages, spin-off graphic novel. You can be the main character, or you can just come up with a story. and we'll create it from start to finish. You'll be, the producer, editor, whatever kind of, acknowledgement you want, and that's the first time we're gonna offer that type of reward. So super excited about that.
That's really cool. That's something I've not seen before, mate. Is that a new thing? Have you ever done that before?
No, and I'll tell you what, like, I think it's hard sometimes, having done so many Kickstarters is kind of to think outside of the box. And this story was kind of almost pitched to us by Grace, who knows Stephen, and it came out so well. I was like, I tell you what, I wonder if there's a bunch of other people that have got a really cool story that they would like to kind of tell within that universe, type of thing. We've done a couple of live meet and greets with Dan, and a few people have said, oh, have you thought about doing this? And I'm like, that's a really cool idea. It's not anything we would probably put in the main story, but that's a really cool idea. So to maybe be able to do just a one-shot spin-off graphic novel with that, I think is really cool. And everyone loves that whole being either a main character or being in a comic. So to say you've got twins and your twin bounty hunters, or twin serial killers, or all that type of stuff. It's a very adult only kind of series. So there's a lot of things that you can play around with in there, which is kind of cool. So
killer.
Okay. And now the final project that we're going to talk about is the one that I've been working on for about 12 months, and we're going to have the director back on in about a month's time, but that's Occupation Rainfall. So that is the tie-in graphic novel between the two films of Occupation. If you haven't seen Occupation, it is a absolutely phenomenal Australian sci-fi film franchise. They've got Occupation, they've got Occupation Rainfall, and they've been greenlit for 2 more movies. And this graphic novel sits in between the current movie that's out and the next one that's going to come out in a couple of years. Now, the cool thing about this is being able to work with a director who's currently shooting a movie, is that we're looking at maybe being able to offer some rewards that might involve being either on set or in the film, or those type of things that we're looking at. I can't kind of guarantee anything yet, but there's a real cool little projects or rewards that we can offer with this one that are very unique to kind of anything else we've done before.
That's cool. Watch this space. That's exciting.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna wait until the director comes on the show and be able to announce anything. But in the meantime, he has shown this. So if you haven't seen this before, this is the actual cover to the Occupation Rainfall graphic novel. So this is the standard cover. We're getting the variant cover done at the moment, and super excited to say Mark Lautier is the artist on this series. So he's a Perth artist. He's a good friend of mine, and he's done some absolutely phenomenal work on this. So really excited to get this cracking. And again, we're going to look at either December or maybe February or March to release this one. So we've got Aquila in October. We've got Night in November, December. We've got Talos of Sparta in January. We've got Fractured Shards Volume 3 also in the works. So we've got a bunch of comics and graphic novels that we're going to get out to you. So, but yeah, that is all I wanted to kind of let you all know and give you an update of where everything is at. Volume 3 of the 13th Labour is actually being printed as we speak this week, and the physical rewards will be fulfilled over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have got all of the E-Jolly prints for Fractured Shards Volume 2 being sent out by Dan tomorrow. And we are still, unfortunately, just waiting for the E-Jamie prints to be signed by Alison Sweeney. So we're just kind of waiting on that final one to finish off the rewards for that one. But yeah, it's as these everyone's saying, it's a very busy time, and yeah, sounds super busy, but super excited as well. And next week, no, in 2 weeks, I'll also be a guest at MacPop Con, which is a convention in Mackay, which is super exciting. So if you're up in northern Queensland, come and say hello. And I'll also be in Brisbane and Adelaide later this year in November for Supernova, and I'll be a guest at both of those events as well. So yes, if you've got any questions for either me or Brad, just chuck them in the chat. And other than that, is there anything else you wanted to tell us, or anything else you're working on now, Brad?
Only that there is an art book that we have in the background floating around. I don't know if we're talking about that or not.
Yes. So yeah, so we've been talking about what? This has been about 12 months, maybe longer, 18 months that we've been talking about this. 2 years.
Over 2 years, yeah.
Wow. So so we've got the covers finished with that. We've got all the interior artwork finished for that. And if anyone knows, all of the different prints that Brad has done for Comics to Movies, those versus prints where the hero versus villain, or group mashups, or teams like the Avengers, we are doing a really cool collection of that into an art book. Do you want to tell everyone what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Brad Van Geest versus the Pop Culture Universe.
I love that because it has absolutely everything in this art book. It's got everything from Doctor Who to The Walking Dead to Marvel to DC to the Netflix shows like Luke Cage and Iron Fist. It's got Transformers. It's a really cool book that's going to collect all of these awesome prints that you've done over, probably 3 or 4 years, probably more than that now.
Yeah, we haven't done much new stuff this year. So before that, it would have been 4, maybe 5. I would even venture to say. All this and children, yeah.
All this and children, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got a 10-week-old, so that's
he knows all about it.
So, yeah, so no, it's kind of cool, It's I'm just making sure that we are, like, a lot of this stuff that I'm bringing to Kickstarter, it's all completed, and I think that's the one thing that I'm trying to do with so many projects now is when we go to Kickstarter, that it's literally run the Kickstarter, print the books, and do fulfillment. It's not waiting on anything or anything like that. There might be a couple of rewards that we offer people type of thing, but it won't be a delay or anything. So
yeah, fingers crossed.
And what's this?
Preview. That's the Oh, am I not allowed to show that?
Yeah, no.
That's the variant cover.
Variant cover. I love this as as not only a cover, but as like a really nice lithograph print as well, which is the one thing that we talked about. You know, having a really super limited run of these on some really nice archival paper. Maybe, you know, only 50 or something of these, because it's such a really cool, awesome image type of thing. So.
Yeah, it's turned out really well, and it's a wraparound cover in case anyone's not sure what's going on. But so yeah, it's pretty cool. Wilson did the colours on this one as well, did he not?
Yes.
Yeah, done a brilliant job on that. So nice.
Yeah. So, but that is it, everyone. Brad, thank you so much for your time, mate. I really appreciate you filling in for Stephen. And to Stephen, happy birthday to your little girl, mate. I hope you had a great day with her. And to everyone that came along and watched the show, or if you're watching this later, thanks for all your support. We hope you like what we've got coming out. And if you haven't already, all the Kickstarter links in all of the streaming places that we're doing this tonight. Tonight we're going to Twitter for the first time. I didn't mention that at the top of the show, but I linked the Twitter. I didn't even realize you could do StreamYard to Twitter until recently. So if anyone's watching from Twitter, thanks for watching as well. But until next time, everyone stay safe, look after each other, and have a great night.